Hello ladies and any gentlemen that might be out there. Karen Mahoney here, Creative Memories Advisor in the New England area, and I am here with another installment of blog borders. So blog borders, I've done a couple videos already, so I believe this will be my third one. I'm just showing you border sketches from the 110 Scrapbooking Border Ideas and Sketches book that Creative Memories compiled. The sketches in here are from the blog. So if you look through here, there's lots and lots of borders. This is not currently available, but your advisor may have some left or can maybe get their hands on one. I love this. So what I do is I am choosing a border, and this is the one that I chose this time. You'll notice that when you look at the sketches, in the book, you have a sketch and you have a finished looking border. This border, there are no measurements. So if you want the measurements, what you do is you go on the Creative Memories blog, which is super easy to access. You go on creativememories.com, and on the top right, you will see where you can click where it says blog, takes you right there. Then what you do, there's a search button. So what I usually do, so this is the one I'm doing today. On the bottom, it tells me pictured, Serene Waters, Rolling Sails Border Maker Cartridge 2022. So what I do in the search, I just put Serene Waters, Rolling Sails border. That's what I put. The blog post popped up, and I clicked on the blog post, and in there is the instructions for this border. So perfect. So I'll take a pen or a pencil. When I did the search on this one, it turns out this border is from June 24th of 22. The border is called Sunset Sail Border. So if you write it down, so if you ever need to get back to it, you could just put that in the search. And then I proceeded to read the instructions, and all I did really was put any important measurements. And in this case, we're using the circle from the custom cutting system. So I wanted to make sure I knew which one we were using and what blade. And that was that. So let's get started. Let's see. I'm going to need, from this, I'm going to need the medium circle from the custom cutting system. I'm going to need the green and the blue blades. Now on here, they obviously used the Rolling Sails Border Maker cartridge. I am not using that. I'm using something different. But what you will want to use is you will want to use something, either a border punch or a border maker system that is more of an edger style, which means when you punch your border, it stays on the paper. That will be the easiest to use. Also on here, I believe they use the wave blade on the 12-inch trimmer, which you could use any decorative blade that you wanted to use, but I'm going to also be using the wave. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my base piece. So you can see the dark color here and the dark color here is the base. So it's 3 1/4 by 12. So I'm going to cut that first. And actually I did already cut one because I'm having issues with my camera. So I had to redo this video, and I had already cut this. So this piece is 3 1/4 by 12. It's the Island Waters cardstock. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to do the second piece, but you can see they used a designer blade from the trimmer. So I'm going to use the scallop. You could use whichever one you wanted, depending on what style border you're doing or what collection you're using, but I'm going to use the scallop. So I'm going to grab my scallop blade out of here, which is the purple one, and I'm going to take my straight blade out. Careful to not put it somewhere where I'm going to forget to put it back in. And let's get this cut. So first thing I want to do is I want to cut an edge for myself here. Oh, let me do that again. Didn't cut all the way through. I do think I need a new mat, so we'll see how I do, how long I can make it. And then I'm going to flip this over where you could see all this printing, that this is really just a fly sheet from a pack of paper. And this is going to be cut at 2 3/4. So I've got that one, so you can see how cute it looks. So that's the start of my border. And then what I need is, I am using, just so you know, the paper pack I'm using is Fruity Delights. This is an advisor only pack of paper. So if you like this, it is still available, but you would have, if you're not an advisor, you would have to contact your advisor to get yourself a pack of this if you want it. So as of today, which is, I don't even know the exact date, but it's the end of March of 2023. It is still available. No promises if you watch this later. So I'm going to, once again, I'm going to cut that little piece off the end so I get my edge that I want. Then I'm going to flip it. Now this is 2.5 by 12. So I'll cut this at 2.5. And that should look really nice. Now, if you want it to see how it lines up really nicely on here, if you want that to happen, you got to make sure that you cut everything the same. So I did my cut, I lined it up the top, did my cut, flipped it over, did my cut, did the exact same thing for here. So we make sure, that way you make sure that your scallops line up nicely. So next thing we're going to do, all right, so now we're all set for the next step, which would be making our circles. So I used, I'm going to put my trimmer away for now. I'm going to use the medium size circle from the custom cutting system. And honestly, what I'm going to actually do before I forget is I'm going to put my straight blade back in my trimmer, because that will bum me out if I make a mistake with that. Put this back in here and I'll put it aside. So the medium size circle, the green and the blue blade. So on doing my research on the blog, I used the medium circle inside with the green blade for that outside circle. So I'm using the Island Waters paper. So I need to make 5 of these circles. Try to cut them as close to each other as possible so I waste less paper. If you make a mistake and one doesn't come out real pretty, don't worry about it. Keep going, make another one. So let's see. 1, 2. It's a little attached, but that looks good. 3. Careful to make sure that the little feet, I like to call them, are properly in the track. Sometimes if you find that your paper is ripping or not cutting right, it's because the feet are not in the track properly. So that's 5 of those. And this one has a little hanging chad. I'm going to do another one just to have it perfect. So let's see, get that in there. There, that looks great. I'll put that one aside. Keep this one. So the next thing I'm going to use is, I'm going to still use this exact circle, but I'm going to use the blue blade this time. So I need the sheet of paper that I used. Let's see. There we go. Well, here's one. I have a little space left on this one, but I think I need to grab another one of these. So I'll cut, I'm gonna, you know, so I'm not wasting. I'm gonna cut these first. Sometimes using the designer paper can be a little tricky with this, especially if you're on the edge. So I'm gonna try to be really careful. Well, it's one. It wants to go rogue, but it didn't. So I think just having a little bit of control with your cutting. I think I can cut one more out of here. You can see where I had some issues earlier, but I should be able to, let's see if I can fit this in here without it ripping, because it's kind of ripped around it. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So let me get a new one. So I got 2. I need 3 more, so I probably have to dip into my pack to get another sheet of paper. There it is. Just to get 3 more. So I'll go right on the edge here. Careful to line up my little feet. One. I find with the designer paper, you just got to be a little more cautious so it doesn't tear. Perfect. That went actually really well. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my tape. Actually, do I need a new? I think we're good. And I'm just going to put my smaller circles onto my bigger circles. Just to get these all set. And I bet you're wondering which border maker cartridge I'm going to use with this, because these papers are pretty citrusy looking. So you can probably guess which one I'm going to use, because I'm going to do that next. So now I have all my circles, and I'm not done with this yet, and I'm not done with this yet. So I'm just kind of putting these on top. Just, I can see it coming together. And then what I need to do, the next thing I have to do is, this was a little tricky, because now you can see where they had the sailboats with the rolling sails. So what I'm going to use is the citrus slice. This is a border maker cartridge that also is an edger. It stays on the paper, so this should work fine. The issue I had with using this is just because of the nature of how it is designed, with all these little, like, kind of like, not seed holes, but the little holes for this, whether these are oranges or lemons or limes, doesn't really matter. Could be fans. When I was using the custom cutting system, it was a little tricky to make the circles around it. So there are 2 different ways that you can do it, because I did do it with a different cartridge, which I'll show you later. I had no issues whatsoever. This one was a little bit tricky. So I did it both ways, and I'll show you both ways, just in case you run across the same thing as I did. So we're not, so what I did was, you can make a border. And I'm going to go all the way across using this yellow paper. See, it makes a cute little citrus slices, hence the name. And look at all the little seeds it gives you for the little extra. So let's see, a little punch poop. I'm not going to use it, but it's great for other, I have used it in other instances. So now what you would want to do basically is you are going to take your circle and you're going to line it up here and you're going to make your circles. So let me do one and see if I come across the same issue that I came across last time. So be careful to put it in, your feet in correctly. And I think you got to kind of take it easy going through. And you do that. Now the issue I was having with this particular one is no matter what, it's a lot of times it ripped, because you can see how it's kind of just a piece that's hanging. When you go through it with the blade, it kind of opens it up and you end up with these hanging pieces, and it was just really being rough. So I had a lot of issues with that. I did not have issues with it with all the Border Maker cartridges, just this particular one. So I think trying to use this cartridge with designer paper, using this technique, is going to give you a lot of problems. So let me show you another option is you can cut your yellow circles. And then what I did is you can use this as a standalone punch. You don't have to use the guide. So then what I did was I took the circle, I slid it into here. Now, let me just show you this. Once I slid it into there, punched it, and it seemed to work much better this way. Now, the only difference is when you're doing it this way, you can choose to have some variation of whether you want the slices up high, down low. You don't really have that choice here, but you do have the choice. You have a little leeway to go this way and that way. So let me just show you. So I'm going to continue to do it this way, where I'm just making the circles and then punching them, because I would prefer this with a smaller amount of variation, but not have them all torn up. So I need 5 altogether, and then I'm going to show you how it goes together. 3, 4, 5. All right. So I'll take another one. You gotta see, I don't know if you can see, is you're gonna slide it right in here. And you can see that you can give it a little bit of variation, but not a whole heck of a lot, because you still want to have a circle. You want to have it cut like it was a border. So you don't want to go like this and then it doesn't cut off the top part of the circle. You need to cut the top part of the circle. So they're pretty much going to be all the same. So they're going to look like that. So whereas if you cut the circle on a border already made, you can have a little bit more variation, which is fun. But for this Border Maker cartridge, I'm sticking with them all kind of being the same, which is fine. I made this border already, and I'll show it to you. And I did do it the other way, so it does have more variation. So I'll just show you the difference. Okay, so that I've got my 5. So we're all done with this. And I'm going to put together my border. And I am going to do one more finishing touch with this, but I'm going to put it together first. I'm going to use my regular tape. I don't want to use the repositionable because I want it to stay together. I want it to be strong like bull. Don't want to overdo the tape. Oh, it goes this way. And then in order to make sure you center these how you want, what I will do is I'll take my border, put it on the edge of my mat, Put a little tape on this first one. Careful if you care whether or not the direction of the paper that you used matters. I'm going to kind of put all mine the same way. So here's 6 inches. So I am eyeballing it, but carefully. So I'm looking at the 6-inch mark, kind of putting it in the center. And then I'm going to do the same with all of these. Oh, thought I lost it for a minute there. Nope, see, it goes that way. Kind of looking at it. So what I'll do is I will do my 2 ends. And then center these, and then it gives it a much more centered look without actually having to be really crazy and over measuring, and makes my brain hurt. Math is not really my favorite subject. So my husband is a carpenter though, so I do know how to measure. I do know measurements. So then you're going to take your paper and you're going to fit it like that. See how it fits perfectly in that circle? So I'm going to put little tape on, let's see, the permanent tape on this side. And actually, I think I might be out of repositionable tape. Nope. No, I do have some. And I'm going to use the repositionable tape on my silicone mat and just do the top. And then fit them in. Now, what I did want to show you before I stuck them down, you could choose to have the border go this way and put everything this way if you wanted to. Up to you, your choice. I did my initial one, I did it vertically, so I like to do 2-page spreads, so I'm going to do this one the same. I don't like to use repositionable tape on my 13-inch mat. You can see where I've made that mistake before and it looks kind of cruddy now, but it needs a good washing. But now that I have my silicone mat, I don't have to do that anymore because it doesn't stick to the silicone, which is great. One more. There, and this is the basic border that is in this book. So here you can see that was how that one was done. If you slide this over, there's the sketch, and it came out really cute. I did one last thing on mine just as an extra bonus, so I'll just show you what I did. Took this really vibrant, bright, it just needed some orange. My border needed some orange. And I'm going across. This paper's thick. So glad they made the Creative Memories paper cardstock a little bit thinner, because it's going to be so much better on our tools. And let's see. All right. And I'm going to put let's see, right here. And then take my trimmer. I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch. And there you go. Actually, I should have gone the other way because I do have a 2-page spread. So let me just go this way instead. Luckily, I didn't press it down too much. There we go. So I'm going to have this way. And here's my other border that you can see that I already embellished with some stickers on. So I kind of embellished it, made it look cute. These are, trying to think of, these are stickers are from, there is a sticker that goes with the Fruity Delights paper that you can also get from your advisor. So I use these So Appealing, Love, Main Squeeze. I just thought it was cute. I'll probably put a few things on this side as well. And let me just show you, I mean, some of you might be like, wow, that's such a busy border. Well, you know what? You can have a busy border, just don't put it on a busy piece of paper. Look at this. I mean, this looks great. It makes the whole page look finished and you hardly have to do anything. So, and then I would have another sheet and I would put this on the other side, obviously. But like I said, you could have made this border horizontal if you wanted to. You can still do it this way horizontally if you wanted to, because the citrus pieces can go to the side. They don't have to be up and down. Of course, I already put these stickers on, so it should go vertically. But yeah, so that's that. And I just wanted to show you what I made earlier using a different punch. Now this is from the punch with the On the Farm collection. This is the Barn and Fence. This one I had no problems with. I made the border and then cut the circles. It was super easy to do. Came out great. Of course, I made 2 of them because I always make 2. I haven't really embellished either of these yet. And then this is the papers I used on this were from the Ranch collection. I can't think of what it's called. But anyways, so it went really well. Those 2 collections really go nicely together. So there you go. So give it a try. Just so you know, this is on page 42. So if you do make one, I'd love to see it. And have a great day. Thank you.